Coming up on the official Celtic FC podcast, Tom Rogic returns to paradise for the first time since he left the club, and he reflects on some magical moments in the hoops, his life now in Australia, and that goal which clinched the Invincible Treble.
Again, lucky to be a part of that and have my name in the club's history like that. It's very cool.
Tom, welcome to the official Celtic FC podcast. More importantly, welcome back to Celtic Park.
Thanks very much. It's good to be back.
I was actually, it was amazing when I was looking back on your career. It's 3 years since you left. I mean, that time's just flown in. Is it a strange feeling to come back to somewhere where you spent so much of your life, so much of your career?
Yeah, it is. It feels a bit strange. Obviously, I spent so long here. I probably didn't imagine that I'd be back here in this capacity since leaving and retiring, but there's a lot of familiar faces, a lot of friends that I'm really excited to catch up with, so it's pretty cool to be back.
I mean, has it been on your mind at all about even thinking ahead to what it'll be like when you play the game, the foundation game, back in the dressing room, putting on the Celtic shirt again and running out at Celtic Park?
I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest. I'm just really excited to be back and seeing everybody, and I haven't really kicked a football since I stopped playing, so I'm sure there'll be a bit of rust tomorrow, but no, I'm excited. I think it'll probably hit me maybe when I step out on the pitch tomorrow, bring back a bit of old memories and feelings, and obviously it should be a great day, really positive, and I can't wait.
I mean, I don't want to alarm you at all, but obviously some of the players that are maybe a wee bit older than you, when they're looking at the squad, they're thinking, well, that's good, Tom's in the team, he can do all the running and all the football for us.
Yeah, I was actually looking at them thinking that, I'm playing with some pretty special names, so hopefully they'll be doing a bit of the heavy lifting. But no, I'm just excited. I think it should be a great day. There's a lot of familiar faces that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Because
I always wonder, whenever you talk to players and then ex-players, they always talk about the dressing room. That was the highlight for them, being in that camaraderie, and I suppose that kind of recreates it with some former teammates, but also some other players that you maybe don't know so well, and just back in that team environment. Yeah, exactly. There's obviously a number of players who I think I played with probably earlier in my time at Celtic, and probably they were more of the senior kind of players there. There's Charlie, Joe, Mikel, players like that, and obviously others that were a bit before my time, but I think the whole prospect of it, it's one that is pretty special, and getting amongst that group, I think you're going to be alongside players who've all experienced the same sorts of things, and with that there's a level of something that you can relate with them, and I think we all appreciate it's a pretty special opportunity to come back here and pull on the jersey again and play here at the stadium. And of course the games for Celtic FC Foundation, Celtic legends against Manchester United legends, to raise money for their projects, and from your time at Celtic, very much aware of the foundation and what they do, and also how important it is for the kind of identity of the club. Yeah, it's obviously the most important thing, I guess, why we're all here, and raising the money that's going to go towards be put to good use, and to be a part of that is, I guess, rewarding in a way, knowing that you can kind of help out, and pretty grateful to be in this position to be able to help out, and I think, again, hopefully it's going to be a special day, and one that will just be a joy to be a part of, I think. And I think as well, for fans, because I think the good thing about these games is, because there's players of different generations, almost different fans will have different memories, and I think particularly when you go back home to Australia, so you're kind of out the Celtic limelight, as it were. Yeah. So it's nice, I think, for people then, when you come back, and kind of rekindles all those great memories that they have. Yeah, for sure. I think, like you said, there's a number of different, I guess, generations as such, and people before my time, people I played with, and I think the fans will resonate differently with certain players. And for me, being back in Australia for the last few years, where football's not really in the spotlight, I guess, like it is here, you almost forget about that. And I think the minute I landed back in the city yesterday at the airport, I kind of realised, I forgot what this was like a little bit. So it's certainly different. I guess that kind of passion and support is what makes it so unique and so special. But again, it's something that I think all the players can certainly resonate with, and the fans, I guess, will most certainly play their part. Does that take a wee bit of time to readjust to
as it were, normal life, because your life really, right up until you retire, is football's front and centre, and then all of a sudden it's a readjustment into what you want to do next once you get back home to Australia.
Yeah, of course. I think there's a transition for any professional athlete into retirement, which is unique and I guess different in its own right. I feel like I've been really fortunate that, you know, I have a beautiful wife and 3 amazing kids that keep me, I guess, pretty busy at the moment. And I've really just enjoyed having that time at home with my family. I think I'm very grateful and very fortunate to be able to do that. And, you know, what's next, I think I'm not exactly sure, like a lot of people that retire and find that balance of what it is that's going to be next in their life. But for right now, I'm more than occupied and pretty content with where I'm at.
Yeah, I suppose that's where I'm guessing like football and Celtic has given you that chance, you know, still as a young age with a young family, as you say, to be able to enjoy that full time. I mean, it's a full-time job, but it's also a full-time joy as well.
Yeah, it's you know, make no mistake, it's a certainly a luxury to have, to be able to have this time at home with them and be there and be, you know, as present and as proactive and as I can be, and I'm really proud about that and really, I guess, grateful. But yeah, that's where my focus has been, and I'm fortunate that that's kept me certainly very busy and very occupied. But, you know, it is an interesting transition because you're used to, you know, stepping out on the pitch out there every week and the highs that can bring and the joy that can bring, and then you step away from that completely. It is quite different. It's very unique, and I think I've always been somebody who, you know, loved playing football, but I was always rather private and I guess a bit more reserved and didn't enjoy doing these sorts of things too much. So, you know, stepping back and moving back home with my family to Australia, it suited me perfectly, and I've enjoyed a bit of peace and quiet and spending time with my family and playing golf when I can and things like that. I feel certainly very content with where I'm at with things, and certainly very lucky.
And obviously while you're here, also at the home of golf, taking advantage of that while you're here as well, which is absolutely right, given the fact you're playing a lot more now.
Yeah. Look, we're here for a week, and my brother's here, and we're hoping to have a couple of games of golf once the game's out of the way, and enjoy that. But look, the main reason we're here is the match, and I'm very excited about that. Feel very, very, very lucky to be back here playing, and I can't wait till tomorrow.
I mean, do you reflect, obviously you've got that time now to look back what was a long and really successful career, obviously here with the national team as well, and are there highlights that jump out at you, or is it just that kind of overall sense of, yeah, I did quite well?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think, yeah, you certainly can reflect on it now that, you know, I'm in a new chapter of my life. I was very fortunate to be able to experience a lot of things and have so many highs, and I think football, there are highs, there's lows, it's just part of the journey, and you just enjoy the whole thing. And certainly here I had a lot of moments that I think can look back on and think, you know, they were pretty cool, and I was very fortunate to be able to do that and experience it. And, you know, I think, again, in years to come, I'll probably reflect even more and feel very grateful that I was able to do that. And certainly now, the moments that I can look back on are pretty special. I mean, my children are young, so they don't really understand, but I think when they get a bit bigger and they might watch a couple of YouTube videos, they'll think, oh, okay, that was pretty cool what my dad did. So, yeah, no, it's been really nice.
Because I think, I mean, there's so many iconic moments that I think even Celtic fans watching this will spring to mind. First one I always think is obviously the Invincible Treble Cup final. One of the guys in our office has that goal on loop as a screensaver. But do you know what I find really interesting is you never tire of watching it, and also as a fan, there's a tingle every time you see it, that moment, because it is going to be iconic for the history of Celtic, and you know what you did and what the team did in that season. Yeah,
I think, look, I was part of a really successful team under a couple of different managers, and we, again, up until now, you know, the club is in a great period where they've enjoyed a lot of success, and you feel at the time when you're playing, it's just relentless. You're just going every week, and I probably had a bit more time than the players obviously playing now realise that where you can reflect and look back on that. And it is pretty special to know that in years to come, moments like this will be remembered. And football's about moments, and I'm fortunate that I've had some, obviously, like you said, that will be, I guess, replayed for years to come and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I think as a player, you kind of look at it more as a collective thing and thought, I was part of a very successful team which had a lot of amazing players and managers, and that was, I guess, me on the moment, but it could have been anyone else. So you don't really look at it too, I guess, individualised. It's more about the team and collective, and we were certainly in a successful period where we were able to win a lot of trophies, which is something I guess shouldn't be taken lightly, and I feel very lucky that I was able to do that in my career.
Yeah, that's very nice and modest of you. The thing that strikes me about that, there's certain moments again in Celtic history where there's a kind of shortened form of, so for example, when you say about Henrik's chip, everybody knows that was the game in 2000 when we won 6-2.
Yeah.
Naka's free kick when we beat Manchester United. Tom Rogic's goal. Now, you scored some incredible goals, but that's the first one I think people remember. And I think when it gets to that stage when you're associated with that, as you say, it's like you can't do it without the rest of the team. But that's nice because that's indelible part of their history now.
Yeah, look, it was obviously a special moment, and I'd be lying if I'd said, didn't say that people come up to me now and it's one of the first things they mention. And to be part of the history of this club, which has a long list of history, is pretty special. And I'm not taking it, for granted or playing it down or taking it too lightly. That's a moment that so many people remember. So it's pretty cool. Again, lucky to be a part of that and have my name in the club's history like that. It's very cool.
I mean, obviously you mentioned you're back in Australia. We've got loads of, as you'll know, loads of Celtic fans in Australia. Do you still find that, although you can kind of step back from the limelight, you're still going to be bumping into Celtic fans all the time?
Yeah, sometimes it catches me off guard now in Australia, where it's like, Australia has so many sports that, are competing to be number one, and there's so many different fan bases. And it is quite unique in that matter, where football isn't, certainly not the number one sport, and there's others that are a long way ahead of it. But every now and then, somebody surprises you and says, I'm a Celtic fan, or I was here at this game or that game. And obviously, don't need me saying the club has a worldwide reach and fans everywhere. So it is, sometimes there's a friendly reminder of somebody you might bump into or come across. And it's nice because I feel pretty removed from things now with where I am back home in Australia. And every now and then, like I said, you bump into somebody and you think, oh yeah, I guess, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
and like you were saying, obviously, the fortunate thing is your career's kind of captured on film. So as you say, as the kids get older, they'll be able to look at that. But then there'll probably be times as they get older, they'll be thinking, why are these strangers coming up and shaking my dad's hand?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I said, it doesn't happen often in Australia. It's not like I said, football's not that big a deal. So every now and then there's a moment when something like that happens. But yeah, these days they're few and far between. And funnily enough, it kind of suits me, so I don't mind that.
I mean, you obviously had friendships that were forged here. You still keep in touch with some of the close friends that you made over your time at Celtic?
Yeah, I mean, I was here for 10 years and it's such a huge part of my life. And when I found out I was coming back to play the game, I obviously let a lot of not just the players, but the staff know. And I'm really looking forward to this week, seeing a lot of familiar faces and catching up with a few people. And should be really cool. And like I said, it was a huge part of my life. So really looking forward to seeing some people.
I mean, does it feel like 3 years since you've left, or does it feel like yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one sometimes. I mean, other days it feels like a lifetime that it was a lifetime ago. But it hasn't actually been that long. But I think, life moves fast and there's a lot going on in everyone's life that, changes very quickly. And I mean, I guess I'm just excited to be back, excited to see some familiar faces and catch up with them. And
because obviously, I say we could go through, great goals, great moments, and they're all iconic. There's some that really stand out. The other thing I think that, again, that people will remember was how emotional you were when you came off in your very last game. Did that take you by surprise, or was that the moment it hit you that this is maybe it for me at Celtic?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I knew well in advance of the game that would be my last game, and had a bit of time to prepare. And I think I just remember preparing for the game and thinking nothing about the game. Nothing about playing or my position or my role or what I need to do that day. It was just all about being my last game, and I probably didn't let off that much or talk about that much. But I just knew it was special. My wife, my daughter were in the crowd, my brother was over from Australia, and I knew it was going to be my last game, and I knew I would have a whole bunch of emotions going through me. And I think it was a bit of a perfect send-off, and I feel very lucky to have been able to leave in such a nice way. And I felt like at that point I'd given everything I could to the club, and it was the right time for me to move on. And all I have is positive memories to look back on, and I feel like I left on such good terms, and everybody from the club, top to bottom, has just been brilliant with me. So I feel really welcome back now, which is nice, and that relationship, that mutual relationship of certainly respect and affection is there with obviously the football club, the fans, people working within the club, all round. And that makes me proud. It makes me feel pretty good about things. So, it's not every day a player gets to experience such a special club for such a long period of time and cap it off with a kind of perfect send-off. So, yeah, I feel very lucky. So it's been amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head, because so often players, even players that have been here for a long time, quite often they leave at the end of the season where it's maybe not been announced, so they don't get that proper chance to say goodbye, which I think, was obviously nice for you. I think what surprised fans is maybe it's the fact that you were always very private and didn't do a lot of interviews. You kind of kept yourself focused on the football. Was kind of seen that public show of emotion that I think there was probably a lot of tears in the crowd when people were watching you.
Oh, well, I am human. So no, it was just. I don't know how to explain it. Obviously, like I said, it was a huge part of my life for so long, and I knew I was going to have some kind of emotion that day. And it was a lovely day. We won, beautiful send-off. It was, like you said, in football, not everybody gets to have those moments, and football these days is so, things can change, very, very quickly. And to be able to have that perfect send-off was nice, because it doesn't always happen like that. And like you said, players sometimes move on, or it's going into a transfer window, or whatever might happen, and they don't get that opportunity. And it was something that I'll remember for the rest of my life, and it was really special.
Because you mentioned about, you're proud of the way that you gave everything for the club over so many years, because I wonder, when I was looking at, was it 16 major trophies, you were part of the Quadruple Treble success, made just under 300 appearances for the club. Those are all statistics that show what you did do, but I wonder if, you can always look at them and they're tangible, but then, as you say, it's maybe the relationship we had with the fans, what you contributed is maybe the greatest achievement.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I'm not downplaying the trophies. It's obviously super special, and you play to win things and achieve things. And I probably look more at relationships that I had with, players who I spent so long with and were friends with, and managers who I got on really well with, and I felt played a big part in my life as a player and as a person. And those sorts of relationships that, look, I'm on the other side of the world now. We don't speak every day, but that mutual, I guess, respect and relationship is always going to be there. And, that fills me with a bit of pride. And there's a lot of people that I think feel the same, I guess, about me. And like I said, it is a mutual thing. And that's a really nice thing to have after so long. And certainly the moments on the pitch, amazing highlights. But there's a lot of time you spend off the pitch with people at the club and teammates and things like that. So especially these days in football, I think players move on from clubs pretty quickly, and that's kind of the trend of the way things have been for a long time. So it's less and less common, but it was amazing, and I wouldn't have changed it for anything.
Because it's incredible. I mean, obviously you were really good friends with James, for example, who predates your coming to Celtic, and he's still performing so well for us now. Yeah,
I'll keep in contact with him, and I can't wait to catch up with him. So we made a few plans this week to To certainly catch up and spend some time together. And he was one of my closest mates while I was here, and he's just been an icon for the club, I think. And I haven't watched too many games since I stopped playing, and I don't follow too many things, but I watched the last game of the season at home here last season when he scored to, I guess, tie up the match, but at the moment it felt like a pretty symbolic moment for him and pretty significant. So that was one that I've seen, or moment that I've watched since leaving, and I think he's just been such an important person for the club for so long, and is, I guess, the way that he carries himself and conducts himself, again, not overly out there in terms of media or the loudest kind of person, but the way he goes about his work day to day, looking after himself. He's a great professional. He's a good role model for any young player coming through, any young person watching the game. And yeah, it's awesome that he's still playing. Hopefully he'll play here as long as he can, and I'm sure when the time comes, the fans will really appreciate what he's done for the club. And yeah, it doesn't need me saying, but he'll be down in one of the greats in the club's history for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that, the reaction when that goal went in, what it meant to him, to the team, but also to the fans as well.
And he just keeps winning trophies.
Exactly.
I mean, how many will he finish with?
Who knows?
Hopefully more, hopefully a lot more, yeah.
Because it's interesting, and again, a lot of ex-players, I wonder if that's part of the readjustment to civilian life, as it were, of becoming a spectator. Because I'm guessing when you were a player, when you were maybe out of the team through injury, that was one of the worst things, is having to watch a game because you want to be out there.
Yeah.
And then having to adjust to life of just watching football, and maybe that takes a bit of time to get back into the rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a unique transition for anybody, and it's such a drastic change. But I mean, everybody's different. Each individual's different. Some people, even players, while they're playing, watch endless amounts of football. Others not so much. So it is different. It is unique, but I think being in Australia, most of the games are on in the middle of the night, which makes things a little bit trickier. Had they been on regular time like they are here, I'm sure I'd watch a lot more. But it's all different. I mean, I've watched every now and then. I watch a little bit when I can, but it's not something that I can say honestly that I watch too much of. But I see most of the things, most of the updates on social media, things like that. And obviously the club has continued to be in a really successful period, and long may it continue.
Absolutely. Well, as we said at the start of this, the main thing is you're here because you want to help raise money for Celtic FC Foundation. There are still tickets available for the game, 2:00 Saturday, Celtic versus Manchester United. It's going to be a great occasion. I think the fans will love seeing you back playing in the hoops. You know, I've already said that you can't wait to get back out there, and hopefully it's just another great Celtic day.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully as many fans can come out as possible. It'll make for a really special day. It's obviously for a fantastic cause, and I guess we can all equally play our part, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, listen, it's great to have you back. I know your home's in Australia. This is obviously your second home.
Home away from home, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see you back.
Thanks very much.
And thanks for watching the official Celtic FC podcast. And remember, like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And of course, if you can, get along to Celtic Park tomorrow, the Celtic Legends game, 2:00, to support Celtic FC Foundation, and hopefully maybe see another wonderful Tom Rogic goal at Celtic Park. Hail, hail.